Mine does. Because I tried CrossFit. Because I thought it sounded fun till I till I woke up the next morning sore. Hey there, Coastal Bend. I am meteorologist Carly Smith. What's up, everyone? We have been really hot. The volume is working, so that's good. Yeah, so technically, yes, a cold front has moved through the Coastal Bend. Believe it or not, the wind is out of the northeast, and we are feeling a little bit more breezy. Right now, if the satellite radar imagery will load, we will get a look at that. But yeah, not as hot today as it was yesterday. Yesterday is the hottest day of the year so far to date. We hit a high of 95 degrees yesterday. Corpus Christi got to a peak heat index value of 117 yesterday. Kingsville got up to 120. So how's everyone doing, y'all? We are going to be talking about the weekend forecast and additionally what you can expect and how much rain is in the forecast past the weekend. So yeah, it should be fun. Of course, now that I'm on the graphics, don't want to load. It says not responding. Don't we love that? But yeah, so yesterday was really hot. Today is still hot, unfortunately. So we've been advertising this cold front, which did actually move through. I promise it did. But it's not really going to make us feel cold by any means, but we won't be as hot as yesterday. So that's why I put for the little headline, not as hot as yesterday. Has anyone posted any, we better get our weather before supposedly, oh, geomagnetic storm today. I haven't saw much about that. I did see where the northern lights are supposed to be a little lower, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. So the northern lights are supposed to be like just barely in the northern United States. So that would be cool for those northern states. It's going to be nowhere near us though, so not cool for us. That would be really wild for the aurora to make it all the way down into Texas, wouldn't it? But yeah, hopefully I get these graphics to load and it doesn't say, it's saying not responding again. I don't know why, but I will be very sad if this is the second live stream I try to do and I have technical difficulties where I don't get to show my weather graphics. It was literally just working before I started. But yeah, anyway, today's high is going to be 95, or 90, sorry. Yesterday was 95, today's high is 90. We will get to a heat index value of around 100 to 110. So it doesn't look as hot as yesterday, but it is cooler. Our rain chances start to go up on Mother's Day. So on Mother's Day, we're going to head into this cooler, unsettled pattern is how we're going to describe it. And so by unsettled, what that means is we're going to be under the influence of an area of low pressure that is going to be in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, and there'll be some impacts down at the surface as well. But in that mid to upper level, the low is going to pass to our north, and it's going to send these shortwave pieces of energy down here into South Texas. And what those shortwaves do is they kind of help boost a little bit of a storm opportunity for us, and that starts Sunday and Monday. I think we'll get a break Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday we see another round. And yes, that will come actually with a brief little front, another front that tries to make it through. And so really what we're going to call these, what I'm going to interpret these little May fronts as, is going to be little, they keep us from getting to the oppressive heat level, right? So they keep us from getting to that extreme, dangerous heat that we saw last summer, this early in May at least. Maybe it's the graphic I'm trying to pick. I worked really hard on this one graphic that shows one reason why the fronts aren't as strong as we wanted them to be. So there's like this area of high pressure that's going to set up just to our south, right? Kind of over Mexico. And that high essentially is building. And then the cold front comes and it tries to weaken it, but the front's going to stall because it runs into that area of high pressure. And as it runs into that area of high pressure, then essentially what we get is that stalled front. And then it's not as strong as we would like it to be. Our wind isn't as strong, so that's a bonus at least as well. But yeah, so this little screen just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. So let's see if anyone has any questions. Let's see, temps just went down a little bit, not really a cold front. Yeah, I mean, that is what happened essentially, and that's what tends to happen in the summertime when we get these fronts. Okay, so I was patient, and I just let it spin and spin and spin instead of closing the program down, and maybe we're gonna get a graphic. So the first graphic we have working, y'all. Okay, so right now we've got 82 degrees, your current temperature, which is not bad. 84 by noon, 87 by 2 p.m. We may reach 90. We are still hazy. That is from the agriculture burning that takes place in Mexico this time of year. So if you've been watching First Edition, you've seen this graphic, maybe this graphic, and essentially the yellow is higher levels of that particulate matter known as smoke from the wildfires that comes up. Now the fires have loaded, so you see all the fires well to our south. Central America and into southern Mexico, that's where all of that activity is. Now Tuesday, one of those pieces of energy I was talking about, that low passes north. It actually is going to bring a weak front once again into the area, it looks like on Tuesday. And so that's going to push some of the smoke out, but not for long. We get it right back in our atmosphere pretty intently by Wednesday. So highs today, like I mentioned, they are expected to be cooler than yesterday. For areas like Kingsville, you made it up to 101, I believe, so you're going to be much cooler. I put 95, but it's going to be somewhere between 90 and 95. Heat index values could still top out above 110, but it will probably be closer to around 105. So this is the graphic I was talking about. So if you're still watching, thanks for hanging with me. And we've got high pressure, that high pressure ridge, dome. So last summer, that high pressure dome was like right over Texas all summer long, and we were so hot. We set so many records for record temperatures, most number of days with triple digit heat. So now that high is currently parked south of us, right there over Mexico. And that's the reason why the front is going to stall. It's not going to make it all the way through the coastal bend because of that area of high pressure. Now the front does kind of weaken it a little bit. You see it weaken, but the front is going to then tap into the next low, the next upper level low, that piece of energy that's going to be moving through. So look, Texas, getting a decent chunk of rain from that event. Now it looks like areas from I-10 north are going to see the most rain, but that stalled front now is moving north as a warm front, creating lift and instability across the area. And our temperatures are going to heat back up. So Sunday, I think we'll make it back to around 90 degrees. And so Mother's Day is looking pretty hot here in South Texas, no surprise there. But then Monday, look, the high has weakened quite a bit at this point. We do get a front that tries to slide through. Now, I don't think the front's going to make it all the way into South Texas per se, but what it is going to do also is it does look like our air gets much drier on Tuesday. But with that drier air, and by much drier, I mean like a dew point of 70 versus 80, right? So with that drier air, our temperatures are going to heat up a little more. And if the front does move out that agriculture or that smoke, that will also allow our temperatures to heat up, I think, actually a little bit on Tuesday. Because what you also notice is the blue has this little uphill bump to it. That's known as a ridge, and we tend to be hotter under ridges, no matter how strong or weak they are. But with the high pressure ridge there, now shifted more over the Caribbean and much weaker, our high temperatures should not get anywhere near 100, but we're still going to be in the 90s with heat index values around 100. There is a third front that tries to sneak in on Friday, but that high pressure heat dome sets up over the Gulf of Mexico and essentially is going to work against that front, having another big impact on the coastal bend. And then the high builds over West Texas and northern Mexico. And that doesn't look like a great scenario heading into Monday. This is not something I want to see as we head into summertime because it usually means a decent amount of heat. But that's more than 7 days out. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. But with that unsettled pattern, we do see rain chances going up Sunday and Monday. It's not a great opportunity for rain, but here we have it. There's that same high pressure ridge, right? And we see the low pressure passing over. As those lows pass over, they create that storm energy. That storm energy gives us a chance for thunderstorms. So it looks like Sunday we have a decent shot, especially Sunday afternoon and evening. Into Monday, then we get a little bit of a break. It looks like Wednesday into Thursday, but then Thursday evening we see those shortwave troughs passing over once again. So Thursday does look like a decent shot at rain. Mother's Day is when we kick off that unsettled pattern. So we see a chance of storms on Mother's Day. So here's the next feature cast that will show that. So the front slides south. We do see a chance for a few spotty showers today. Some storms try to develop off the Sierra Madres there in New Mexico. And then here's what happens. So we get some storms Saturday night to our north. They pass through Houston as this front is lifting north as a warm front. I think what's going to set up is a bit of a dry line. This is Sunday afternoon. I didn't draw the dry line, but if I did, I would draw it right here. And so any piece of upper level energy and combined with that dry line could bring us a chance of storms. This is Sunday evening. So we'll have to see what happens Sunday around 6 p.m. on that dry line. And then those storms may move into the coastal bend into Monday night. So now we're going to get rid of the dry line because it's not going to move. But yeah, then the next front tries to sneak in by Monday evening. We are seeing a chance of rain. The front slides through. We mostly are a little, that easterly component to the wind, still going to keep us a bit humid. But what these like 3 little baby fronts are going to do, like I mentioned, is keep us from getting oppressive levels of heat. So here's your rainfall accumulation forecast. Again, most of the rain is along the I-10 corridor and north of there. Areas like Beeville, Live Oak could see a little bit higher rain, as well as Refugio, but overall, most of us are around a ½ inch or so. So like I mentioned, those cold fronts, what they're going to do is just keep us from having the extreme heat. Heat index values will hang out around 103 to 105. It looks like Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, we're a little hotter, but our heat index doesn't go up because we're slightly drier. And then Friday would be our next best chance for a front, but both models aren't really agreeing on that. And a front that would actually cool us off if both models are agreeing on it. Right now, one has the dew point falling into like the 60s and the other one doesn't. So it's hard to get excited about that, especially after this last front. It doesn't look as impressive as we really want it to be. But overall, I see several comments, so watch out for mosquitoes. It's on it. Ronnie says, I miss the cold fronts and watch out for the mosquitoes. Shelby says, Saturday looks good. That looks to be our coolest day of the week, around 86 degrees. Still a little humid, but definitely not bad by any means. I did not know owls are biofluorescent. That is an interesting fact. Any rain tonight? Very low chance of rain tonight. It's a possibility, but I don't think we're going to see much. Again, because the front moved through, we don't have any watches or warnings, which is great. There's some rain offshore where that front has passed through. There's a little bit of rain to our north, but not much rain down here. It's interesting. That must be like an old outflow boundary from the storms that passed through San Antonio last night. Otherwise, I don't know what those are developing on. It's very interesting. Those popped up just north of B in Live Oak County. I bet that is outflow right there. That's got to be outflow from the storms that moved through San Antonio last night that dumped some big hail. Let's look at these storm reports for anyone that's interested. Well, I would have thought there would be more, so let me see how long I have the timeline set for. There we go. So I've got 2-inch hail, some wind, 4.2-inch hail. So it was Johnson City that saw the worst of that. Oh me, oh my. 4.2 right here. So that's on 281 where 290 meets 281 between Dripping Springs and Johnson City. That's crazy. Wimberley saw 2-inch hail. San Marcos saw 2.5-inch hail. That is big. So 1/4 inch is when severe weather starts, or a quarter size. 1 inch in diameter, that's the size of a quarter. That's when there are severe thunderstorm warnings start. So then when you get to 2 inches, that's kind of like the size of an egg. And then once you get bigger, that 4-inch hail, oof, I would not want to see that. That's like tennis ball or bigger, so pretty crazy. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Not the worst weather, but yeah, there is a low chance for some storms. Let me see if I can get my IBM model. So here we have it. This model is showing a few spotty showers today, but I wouldn't bet on any of this. This is just due to all of our humidity that's in our skies. Saturday, if the front starts lifting north a little early, we may see some storms, but otherwise, most of that activity is going to pass to our north. So you'll see that here as the front lifts north. And if we see anything, it would be like Sunday evening. Let me extend this longer. So it'd be Sunday evening. We could see a few of those storms that developed to our west sneaking in. So that's going to be our best shot at rain here. And then Monday, we're also still unsettled. Tuesday, Wednesday, looks like we get a less opportunity for rain. And then Thursday's when it returns again. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to leave this up on the 7-day. Have a fabulous Mother's Day weekend, everyone.